So are we actually going to do this? Yeah, we are. Let's go. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Actually the Podcast. I am excited for this episode. I say this every time. I feel like I just get excited to talk to you guys and be in your earbuds. It's definitely a privilege, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I want to ask a question. If you have ever thought this when building your business, and this can be at all the stages, like definitely at the beginning, but even right now, if you're in a growth stage or you have some big goals, a big vision, are you feeling or asking this question, how long is this actually going to take? And if you heard King Julian from Madagascar, you are my people. And that's the question here, is that we get to experience this journey in building a business and being an entrepreneur and trying to create something out of nothing and creating our own path and trying to figure it out, whether you are creating a brand new business or you're doing a business that's very common or a service or a product. It's all a lot, and there's no guarantees, and there's no predictable do this time, this way, exactly this result will happen. It's not quite so cut and dry. And that's one of the hard things about being an entrepreneur. And it's also a fun thing because you can shift the timelines. You can change how fast things go. You don't have to wait for somebody else. You can make it happen. But there are going to be times along your journey, if you are not in one of those times right now, that you are asking yourself, how long is this actually going to take? And yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And, coaching dozens and dozens of women over the last few years and even my own personal journey, this isn't a spot that you will get into many times during your entrepreneur journey, especially when you're ready to take on a next level or take on that next big vision. And there is a factor here that combines time and mindset. And the question I want to really bring up with you today is, what if it takes a little bit longer? What if it takes a little bit longer or a lot longer? I don't know. We don't have magic wands or crystal balls. Will you quit? Will you see this journey out? What is it going to take to get you to stay in the race, to stay in the journey, to stay actually doing the work while saying, I have this belief and holding space for that belief for the results that you want? So I'm going to give you 3 mindset shifts that I feel are really important when you're feeling, how long will this actually take? And you've been working, you've been showing up, you've been trying, whether it's been a few weeks or a few months or a few years, and you're just like, come on, I should be seeing something. Why am I not, that feeling? Or maybe you want more, or you're just like, I can just taste it. It's going to happen. Or I've had a little glimmer of hope and I'm ready for more of it. So here's some shifts that I want you to think about and use when those questions of how long is it actually going to take come up, because you are in this for the long haul. And that is, I want you to adopt committed over consistent. Meaning, you could show up and be consistent for a few weeks. Yes, absolutely. And there are times when we need to be uber consistent. It's not my favorite word. It brings a lot of pressure to the business, especially as someone who is very multifaceted and has multi roles. So like with having 6 kids, I have a hard time with being like uber consistent because I never know what's going to happen. Like my son got a football injury. My daughter had to do a dentist thing. I had dental work done that did not go well. I mean, just like somebody got sick, somebody had a tummy bug, like end of the school year stuff. There's just always chaos and crazy that disrupts the consistency that sometimes you wish you could have. But when you're setting your own schedule and the whole reason you are having this business in the first place is so that you can have flexibility and availability for your family, that sometimes causes this like disconnect of like frustration and obligation and beliefs and expectation of saying I have to be consistent in order to be successful. And I really feel like a lot of women, especially in business, end up feeling like failures because they're not consistent, or they blame their lack of results. Well, if I was just consistent, then I would fill in the blank. And I'm not saying you don't have to show up. Okay. This is not permission to just talk about your business one time a week. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. And we're going to have another episode about talking about your business. But we need to continually show up in a committed way and saying like, I will show up and I will keep showing up. I'm going to commit to showing up in the best way I possibly can without giving up. And I'm going to stay committed to my strategies. I'm going to stay committed to what I've worked on. I was going to stay committed to the process. And that really is going to be the game changer thing for your long-term growth, to seeing that actually work. Too often, I feel like we give up just before the floodgates open. We walk away and are disappointed because we didn't see that instantaneous viral moment or huge launch that someone else had, but they don't disclose to you that they had 10-year overnight success. Somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, she's like, wow, you have this amazing Facebook group and like all this stuff, and you just like you just exploded out of the gate and came out of nowhere. And like, no, I built that group community for years. It's gotten to where it is because I was willing to start with 5 people, and then it grew to 8, and now it's at 8,000 plus. But it had to start somewhere, and I had to stay committed to that strategy. I definitely was not consistent with my Facebook group. Oh my gosh. Nope. Not consistent at all. But I was committed, and commitment is key to growth in your business, and saying this business is something I'm going to be doing for the long term. So I'm going to keep showing up for myself because I see what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, however long. I'm going to be still here showing up, and I'm willing to dedicate to that. So committed over consistent. The other one I want you to go to is to priorities over to-dos. Okay, that's a shift I want you to think about. Instead of having a giant to-do list, I want you to really get nailed into your priorities. Okay, hear me out. We have benefits from to-do lists. Don't get me wrong, I have a to-do list. But when the to-do list is what is drawing your attention, you are ignoring your priorities. To-do lists are, in my opinion, like where I'm referencing is that piece of paper. It used to be for me on the back of a junk piece of mail. I would write my to-do list, just random, because I could never find a notebook. And I would have this envelope, and I would start writing to-dos. I would write, cut Jordan's hair, buy hairspray, take out the trash. Don't forget to call back the doctor about this prescription. I mean, just like random stuff that gets all thrown together in a very chaotic way, which then causes me to be chaotic. And then I have to, when I look at the to-do list, decide, okay, what is important on this to-do list? What do I have to do first? How long is this going to take? Oh, I thought of something else I need to put on here. And it's just this kind of chaotic spiral that ends up being a distraction instead of quality action. And if you have that experience that I definitely have many days, is when I have reacted to my to-do list the whole day long, I always feel like I didn't get anything done. or I felt like I didn't get enough done because there's always something else to do. Because as I am crossing off these random to-dos, I am adding on 5 to 10 more, right? Because I definitely could always think of something else to do in my business, my personal life, all of the things. There's always more we can do, especially as business owners. Oh my gosh, there's always something else. Like I could I could keep the laptop open 24 hours a day and never run out of finding opportunities, things to do, to create, to update, to rework, to finesse, rebrand, all the things, new tools, new funnels, all of it. I mean, even new platforms. There's a new one coming out, guys. We'll see what happens. So, if you are living off of a to-do list, it's going to feel like things are taking so much longer, and you're going to take longer to do the thing that you want to do. So being able to really identify what are my priorities that I need to take away from this to-do list and really focus on as the most important action I can do today to move the needle forward. Because if you're able to do that awareness and that action, you're going to see so much of a different mindset. And you're going to see that needle push forward in a very clear way and have more confidence instead of chaos. And I don't know about you, but I really need to have confidence that what I'm doing in my business is going to be able to work for me. I don't want to spin my wheels. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to just throw spaghetti at the wall and hope something sticks. I do want to be able to say, okay, this is going to bring something back to me. My investment of time and energy is going to return to me. I need to be making sure that I'm not just living off of a chaotic to-do list that is random and distracting, and be more intentional with my priorities. What exactly do I need to prioritize? And if you've heard me talk about it in maybe one of my workshops or on the podcast, I think I've mentioned it a couple of times, I like to split up my priorities into 2 categories: power priorities and profit priorities. Profit priorities are all the things that bring me to new sales and conversions, and power priorities is really serving my clients and delivering the best possible results to them. I need both, okay? Because we don't want to sell and then neglect our people, and we don't only want to serve our people and not sell. So we need to have both. And really knowing that for your business, and then how do you create that synergetic relationship of working through both throughout the week, whether it's dedicated days. Hey, today is a power priority today, so I'm only going to focus on client work, versus a profit priority day, which is focusing on marketing and sales growth. Being really intentional and not just slipping into the habit of, oh, I should create this freebie that's really random because I just want more followers. Like let's be really intentional and clarity instead of jumping on every new bandwagon and the opportunity that comes by. And that's the hard thing, is because as we see people do really cool things in their business, it's like, oh, I should do that. And we adopt their to-do list and their priorities as our own, and it may or may not be the best choice for you. So being really aware of whether or not you are just creating more to-dos in your business, or if you're really following a priority focused plan that really can lead you to the results that you want. Okay. So priorities over to-dos, committed over consistent. And then the third one is going to be, I want you to shift to say, I want predictable profit over quick cash. Now we do need quick cash at time, and quick cash is fun, but we don't want to build a business that is only focused on the quick cash action, meaning you can't sustain it. I want to create as much predictable profit as I can so that I'm not starting over every day. Quick cash is I made a sale and I moved on, right? It's not really predictable, sustainable. It's not long term what is going to give you that foundation and security that we need in our business and that we're craving. And a lot of times we're just craving some of that security and stability, and predictable profit can make that happen in our business so that we're able to then do the quick cash and the expansion, new ideas, creativeness that we want to do because our floor is stabilized. I like to ask this question when I'm doing a discovery call with potential new clients where they're coming in, they're wanting to work with me, and I'm trying to get a good feel of like what is it that they're wanting so I can help them know how I might be able to help them or if I'm the right fit for them. Because it's really important to me that I really truly do know and understand what your wants and goals are and that we can get there together. So I asked two questions that kind of are the same question, but in a definition. Just hear me out. So, what is your floor and your ceiling goals for cash? That's my question to them. And this is how I describe it. My floor goal is what I call the security goal. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel stable. It is not what I'm really shooting for, but it's what makes me feel grounded and not scared or fearful. That's another word that I'm like, oh, I can't pay my bills, or I'm bleeding money, or I'm bleeding resources, or oh, it feels scary here because I don't have enough for my family or to cover my costs. I don't I don't feel like we can build a business really well if our floor is not stable. So I usually like to focus on stabilizing our clients' floors first before reaching for the ceiling. So I ask them their floor goal, and that's usually like a four-figure number for newer businesses. So like my first floor goal was $1,000. I was like, I just want to make $1,000 a month. I could pay for groceries, and I could also be able to pay for a date night, right? And that was when we had a lot less children and way before inflation. So $1,000 stretched really, really far back then. So that was my first floor goal, is I just wanted to do that because then I would feel like my business was really worth it. It was doing something for me. It wasn't just, a hobby. And then my ceiling that I was reaching for, that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm getting there, and I'm finding a strategy, was 4,000. So I was floor 1,000, reaching for 4,000. And then when I hit the $4,000 a month, that became my new floor. And I started reaching for 10K months. I was like, I'm going to hit my first 10K month, but I want to sustain and have predictable profit of $4,000. So then 10,000, I hit that ceiling of 10,000, and that became my floor. And I started reaching for 15,000 months, so you can see the pattern here. So we don't have to stay at the floor. We want to keep reaching and leveling up, and your ceiling usually ends up becoming your new floor. Once you have regulated your nervous system around it, you feel like you know what's coming down the pipeline. You have more experience, more confidence comes with it. But it also, I believe, helps with this nervous system of not such a far jump. So if I feel like my floor is stable, I can take bigger steps because I'm not worried and concerned that everything's going to go away or fall away from me. And also it's able to like give me that predictable ladder that I can keep moving up and keep stepping into in ways that are not so stretching that I don't actually believe it. I'll give you an example. I worked with a coach a few years ago, and they were like, we're going to help you get your first $60,000 month. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I want a 60K month. Cool. I definitely, yes. Tell me how. But the problem was when I was looking at that, my floor was not stable, number one. And also, it was a huge jump from where I was to that 60K. And all I could think about was the amount of work, and I don't know how I could make this profitable because my margins weren't there. It just like kind of spiraled me out of control. Yes, their plan for the 60K could work, but my brain and thoughts and mindset and subconscious all fought against this giant leap of, a difference of $50,000 in income in 1 month. I think at the time I was making around 10K a month on average. And I want to be stretched. I want to hit the bigger goal, but that huge jump, and then also just huge jump in service, huge jump in time requirements, that dysregulated me a lot. And then that caused me to go into chaotic action and started going back to my to-dos. I also started focusing on quick cash because I was kind of being sporadic. And instead of my predictable profit plan, I definitely could not stay committed to this high intensity strategy that was not sustainable with my energy, with my time, with our family lifestyle. So I felt frustrated and discouraged because of that huge disconnect of belief with the plan and where it was at. So I had to come back to the table because that ended up feeling like, how long is this going to take to get there? And am I going to die in the process? That also came up. So if you've been feeling like that, I want you to go back to, how can I create predictable profit over just quick cash, being desperate for the cash, having to say yes to things that I don't want to say yes to. Yes, sometimes we do have to do the dirty work or do some of those tasks that we maybe won't be doing long term, or an offer that we won't give out forever just to get started or to supplement when within the growth. I'm not against that. I've done that many times. But overall, I really want you to focus on growing predictable profit offers. So if you're struggling with knowing, okay, is my offer something that can help me create predictable profit, and how do I turn it into it? So for instance, if you're in the coaching industry like me, or the business service industry, like a virtual assistant, OBM, social media manager, etc., one way to predictable profit is to have a contract that is a length of time instead of month to month. You say, okay, we'll give you some sort of better rate or package if you're committed to us for 3, 6, 12 months. That makes it so I have more predictability with my income instead of having to find a new client every single month or wondering if they're going to re-sign with me every single month. I create an offer that is long-term committed. So that's one way. Another one is turning it into one-to-many instead of just one-to-one. Having one-to-many is another way of predictable profit. So a lot of people go from like a one-to-one service consulting to a group consulting or service program, community-based program. It allows you to increase your clients without increasing your workload because you're serving them in a community or group setting. And this is, again, very easy for people like in the service industry or education space where you're teaching somebody that. So we have clients right now who, like I have one client in particular, Michelle, who teaches teachers how to build tutoring businesses. And so she does that in a community-based setting. So we definitely know what's predictable profit for her and how many people she needs to sign because we know her profit margins as well as that. And it doesn't take her any extra time. It doesn't matter if she sells 2 or 200 spots in the program. She isn't really adding a lot of more time to her week and month, which allows her to really build a sustainable business. And the same goes for other businesses like that, service, other sleep coaches, parenting coaches. A lot of service industries would be benefited from that. So the other one I want to bring up, there's many ways to create predictable profit, but just off the top of my head, these are the main ones that I seem to work with over and over again, is also creating a team-based profit margins. So if you maxed out yourself with how much you can serve on a capacity, you're like, okay, I want to grow, but I literally can't take on more work. You have to start outsourcing. And there's a strategy behind outsourcing with a team or subcontracting. We really have to be careful about those profit margins and how you're splitting what's coming in from the client and what's going to the subcontractor versus what's staying in the business to you. And you want it to be really profitable for your business so that you're not losing money and you're also building really sustainable strategies that can carry you long term. So another example for this is that we have another client who, when she came to me, she was fully maxed out with her time, and she is a copywriter. She could not take on any more clients, and so she could not bring in any more cash. That's just where it was. So she either had to come up with a new offer, or we had to go with a team that could help give her back her time. And yes, she won't make as much per hour if she was doing the client work herself, but she's going to, because she'll be able to increase her volume, make more money in the long term. So it was a process. Again, we started working together with this plan in place. She started hiring her team of writers. We got a system in place for how to hire them, train them, what she's looking for. We started building her team. We've been working together now for over a year, actually a year and a half now. And what we just talked about this week actually was she's got 6 people on her team. She's had her biggest month ever this year, and like she's able to sustain these high margins of income. And also, not just that, she is getting her time back. She is taking off more time for herself. Instead of working 7 days a week, she's gotten it down to 5.5 and going even less, and just really being able to have more creative time. She's built like more of into her creative side of her business instead of just only the copywriting side, which is not as fun. And all of that came about because we focused on predictable profit instead of just saying yes to any cash coming in the door. And putting the power back in her hands is just a game changer. And when she voxed me last week and said, you know what? I told this client I didn't have time on my schedule for this because I really didn't want to do it and it didn't feel good. None of my contractors could do it. And I didn't need to say yes because I was desperate for money. And I just love that for her because she took her own power back because she knows exactly how to create predictable profit. She doesn't have to stress about the cash that is like not aligned for her. Something that she doesn't really want to do, or is very draining or time consuming, or doesn't have high profit margins for her. So if you can be committed over consistent, you can identify your priorities over your to-dos and focus on your priorities over your to-do list and create more predictable profit over quick cash. Yes. Yes. That's the answer. If you do those things, yes, it's going to work. It's going to work. And you're going to see that it doesn't matter how long it takes because you're going to create something that's sustainable, long-term, committed predictability for yourself to be able to run long-term in this business. And yes, it's going to take pivots and creativeness, and that's part of the fun. But also keep going. Don't give up. Don't stop. You've put all the work and time in. Don't stop now. Don't pivot again when you haven't given this strategy, what you're doing, an opportunity to work for you. Don't throw it in the trash. Don't put that cash in the trash because you are too busy distracting yourself with all the shiny objects, with all the things coming through your feed, with all the promises and the gurus who say you have to do it this way or 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 this way. Oh, it's just exhausting to listen to all of them. Bless their hearts. I love them. I'm one of them. I get it. But we really, over everything else, need to be really committed because this is going to bring you long-term wealth and long-term profit. Profit in, yes, your income, but in your time, your energy, fulfillment, everything that you love. If you truly love this business, stay committed, stay in there. And if you need the support, if you are like, I need someone to see what I can't see and why it's taking so long, book a free alignment call with me. this is what I do. I love doing this. Like, let's get in the weeds. Let's figure out, like, what is it that is holding you back? How could we potentially find a way to accelerate your results? Maybe there's something that you've been doing that is just not serving you anymore, or we need to change up and just tweak just a tiny bit, not throw the whole thing out. One client in particular who came to booked a discovery call. We talked about her business. And even just on that call, I was doing a little bit of digging into her community and what she was doing. And she's just like, I don't understand, Lani. I'm posting all the time in my Facebook group. It's very engaged, but no one buys from me. And I don't understand what's wrong. So while we were on that alignment call, I just popped open her Facebook page group because I wanted to see what it was about. I wanted to see what she was doing. And within seconds of scrolling, I was like, oh, girl, you're not actually offering them anything. All you're doing is talking about what you know and telling them stories, but there's no calls to action anywhere. You're not telling them to do anything. You're not really telling them what you're offering. I did find one post that she did talk about what she was doing buried in this giant story, which was really good. But if that's the only time they ever see your offer, then no wonder they're not buying, because you're not really telling them what you do. And so she was doing the right thing of posting and engaging her audience and creating lots of great conversations, but she wasn't funneling them anywhere. So just that visual of like, oh, and she was really shocked, actually. It was funny because she started laughing. She's like, I did not even realize that I hadn't posted a call to action or talked about my offer at all. I was just trying to get them to talk to me. And I'm like, that's great. You should be doing that. But if you forgot that one piece, that's no one's going to buy just because, you're sharing something valuable. Most people will not go and be like, okay, you're so valuable. Tell me how I can buy from you. Most people are not going to do that. So if you need the help, if you are like, I can't see where I might be getting distracted my to-do list, I might be trying to pressure myself to be consistent and not really understanding the commitment of this, or I can't be consistent. I've been focused on consistency and I always keep failing, and which has been so discouraging. How can I be committed in this? Or maybe you've been saying yes to all the things that you don't really want to do. Your offer isn't aligned. It's not sustainable. You feel like you're starting from zero every month. We need to fix that. And if you can get the help that you need to see that, why wouldn't you, right? So we're offering some free business alignment calls over the next few weeks. If you go down to the calendar below, you can book a call there, or you can go to lanijackson.com/let's talk. And either of those will get you to our free business alignment call. Take advantage of it. It's there for you. And why not do this so that you can go through the summer with a clarity of action, knowing that, hey, this isn't going to take that long. And I'm willing to go through whatever it takes because it's going to explode in something beautiful, and I'm very confident in it. Imagine that. All right, my friends. I'll see you next week on another episode. I'll talk to you real soon. Thanks for actually joining us today. I hope it inspired you to actually take the action to step into the empowered CEO that you are and getting more of the results that you want. Before you go, I have a quick favor. Leave us a review and take a screenshot of this episode and share it with your friends and on your favorite social media channels. Don't forget to tag us, actually.thepodcast and Lani J. Jackson. And we'll see you next week on another episode.